It amazes me just how many drivers don't know these 5 underutilized tips to keep them as profitable and as efficient as possible. By the end of this video, you'll learn how to leverage some tools that you've probably already heard of in a new way to keep you ahead of the pack. So make sure to stick around to the end of the video. What's going on, everybody? I'm Zach Drives Fast for the Rideshare Guy, and in this video, we're going to talk about simple yet effective tools that can help drivers increase their income and become more efficient when used correctly. Let's get into it. I want to start out by saying, in our business, time is money, and unless you're using Earn by Time on DoorDash, which I don't think you should, you're not getting paid anymore if you're waiting around. The first underutilized tool that I'd like to talk about is Unassigning Orders. Unassigning Orders can be a strategic move for drivers delivering for DoorDash or Uber Eats. One of the main benefits of Unassigning Orders is it can help you avoid long wait times that would otherwise cut into your profitability. Of course, this comes with knowing your market. You have to ask yourself if the amount that you're going to be paid is worth waiting at the restaurant and then driving to your customer to deliver the order. You never want to make this decision with the expectation of seeing a hidden tip. This is going to lead to frustration and disappointment. Ask yourself what the likelihood is that you're going to get a better offer that time of day and that day of the week. Make your decision based on if that order is worth waiting around for the pay, or if you'd be better off unassigning the order and then freeing yourself up to accept another one. Another benefit of unassigning orders is it allows drivers to avoid difficult or potentially unsafe situations. Similarly, if that order is going to take them into an area with spotty cell service or to an apartment building with no parking, the driver may be better off to just unassign the order and move on. Remember, these gig companies aren't going to reimburse you for parking expenses. You may also be better off to unassign a lower paying order if you multi-app and then get a higher paying order on a different platform. I've heard many drivers say that when they accept an order, they're committed. And while that's admirable, I'd like to remind you that we're operating a business and we're in this to make money. In my opinion, you're not committed to an order until you have it in the car. Personally, I don't see a problem in unassigning a lower paying order in favor of a higher paying one, assuming you're not going to be waiting around for that one as well. The final example that I'd like to give on why a driver may choose to unassign an order is if you get a complicated customer. If you accept an order only to have your phone start blowing up by the customer asking when you're going to be there and if you can get them some extras, it's an easy unassign for me. It's not worth the bad rating that could very well follow. By making these decisions strategically, drivers can avoid wait times that will eat into their profitability. With all that said, the one thing that you do need to be cautious about is your completion rate. If you're driving for DoorDash, make sure your completion rate stays at or above 80% at all times, or you do risk deactivation. The second underutilized tool is the customer app. This one's pretty straightforward, but it amazes me just how many drivers don't think to do this. Using the customer version of the DoorDash app can benefit the driver in a couple of ways. For example, you'll know what restaurants are open and which restaurants are running promotions, such as a buy one get one or free delivery. These restaurants tend to see higher order volume as customers do love saving a few bucks, and you may see more orders from a restaurant with a promotion than one without one. Armed with this knowledge, drivers can position themselves strategically and focus on accepting orders at these restaurants, which can increase their order volume and decrease their drive time. Additionally, this will let you check what's open and when it might be time to pick a different place to wait for orders as places start to close for the evening. Number 3 will potentially be the most valuable thing on this list. Make friends with other drivers and restaurant staff. Getting to know other drivers as well as restaurant staff can be extremely valuable. By getting to know other drivers in your market, you can get valuable insight on realistic wait times in your market and how busy certain areas of your market truly are. Because we all know that a red map on DoorDash does not necessarily mean it's busy. You may also consider starting a group chat with other drivers in your market for real-time information. I personally use a walkie-talkie app to communicate with a couple of drivers in my area. There's rarely a slowdown that I don't know about in advance. Other than the friendships I've built, in my opinion, the single best thing about making friends with other drivers is I have a long list of bad customers that I've never delivered to. If somebody's known to tip bait or claim that the order never arrived, word gets around. Sure, other drivers are competition, but they can also be a major asset. Similarly, building relationships with restaurant staff can pay off in the form of more accurate wait time estimates and faster service. By being friendly with restaurant staff and building rapport, you can get your orders faster and without delays. Let me ask you this, who do you think is more likely to get their order first? Somebody like me who's on a first-name basis with them, or a driver that comes storming in and shoves their phone in their face? If you're kind to the restaurant staff, they are far more likely to give you realistic time estimates and communicate any issues with the order. Here's an example of how this has benefited me. I'm on a first-name basis with countless restaurant employees. There's a group of restaurants in my market that are owned by the same company and managed by the same person. And when that person is at one of those restaurants, things slow to a crawl. When I walk into one of these restaurants, I'm told right off the bat if that person is working at that location that day. If they are, I know to unassign the order and walk away. If that person isn't at that restaurant that day, they tell me where they are, and I know not to accept orders from there. Ultimately, building these relationships can save you time and maximize your earnings as a delivery driver. The second to last underutilized tool that I'd like to talk about is Waze. Waze is a real-time traffic alert app that provides real-time information to drivers. The thing that really sets Waze apart is that they crowdsource their data, and people don't have to submit reports for you to see slowdowns. If there is a slowdown, Waze will give you a fairly accurate traffic speed estimate, so you know if there's an accident or if it's just congested. On top of that, users can submit incident reports such as accidents, road closures, and speed traps. Other users can then give those reports a thumbs up or a thumbs down, indicating whether that's still a problem or if it's been cleared up. I'm not the biggest fan of the turn-by-turn directions on Waze, but I still run the app in the background so I can hear the alerts as they come in. If you haven't tried Waze yet, you definitely should. It's free and it's a big time saver. And in our business, time is money. The final tool on our list is by far the most underutilized, and it blows my mind that more drivers don't use it. This one is so simple, yet so powerful. Google. Using Google can be massively valuable to drivers. For example, let's say you get an order for a virtual restaurant that you've never heard of. You can just pop the address of the restaurant into Google and see what physical location is actually at that address. This can save you a lot of time and prevent confusion and mistakes. I've actually interjected a couple of times when a very confused drivers comes stumbling into a restaurant asking if they're in the right location, only to confuse the person working at the restaurant who then would proceed to tell them no. One of my favorite ways to utilize Google is to type in the delivery address and find a listing for the house on a site like Redfin or Realtor.com. If the house you're delivering to has ever been put up for sale, there should be a listing on these sites, and there you will find pictures of what the house looks like. Look for things that will help you easily identify the house at a glance. For example, maybe they have a detached garage or a flagpole in their yard. This makes it much easier to find the correct house quickly. This is insanely helpful if you're delivering at night or if the house is on a busy road and you need to quickly pull into the right driveway. Alternatively, you can also use Street View in Google Maps, but I would caution you against this as it will frequently put you in between two houses and then you have to guess which one is the right house. This also won't work if there's a lot of shrubbery or trees blocking the view from the street. Having said that, Street View is a faster but less accurate way of getting the same information. What do you think is the most underutilized tool? Let us know in the comments. If you haven't done so yet, please consider pressing the like button and subscribing to the Rideshare Guy. If you enjoyed this video, you may also enjoy this video where I talk about misinformation surrounding the Top Dasher program. I'm Zach Drives Fast for the Rideshare Guy. Take care.